Hi guys, and welcome back to the overview of the Ultimate Decades Challenge Berry Style. Today we're going to be covering the 1320s. So 1320 was a very eventful year. Just after the clock ticked over from 1319 to 1320, Clementine gave birth to triplets, all boys. They were named Caspian, Godfrey, and Ulysses II. Unfortunately, later in the year, their first son Tristan failed his age-up role and he died of malaria. Also, Alaric's cat Bluebell became an adult. In the royal family, Edward became a teenager, taking on more responsibilities as king with the guidance from his regent uncle Leopold. Edward's sister Eleanor, who was the Queen of France, had two surviving male children over the period of the decade. In 1321, Sybil was married to Frederick Fairfield of the prosperous Fairfield family. It took quite a while to save her dowry, but Alaric was pleased that his sister was going to have a life away from being a peasant. Also, Frederick's sister Edith married King Edward, which elevated the family's status. During this year, Clementine became interested in finding out what had happened to her family, her parents and younger brother, who had disappeared during the Great Famine. She spoke with Agnes Crumplebottom, and Agnes told her that her parents had been good friends with Hermia Underwood, who is the mother of Viola and Sebastian. Now, luckily, Viola was married to Clementine's husband's uncle, so she decided to go and speak to Viola. Viola explained that her family was from France and they were spellcasters. Her father, Lysander, had been hunted down and murdered, which caused her mother to flee France with her and her brother when they were young. Clementine's parents, Landis and Dolores, had helped Hermia settle into England. Hermia died not long after Clementine was born. Viola explained that she didn't know what had happened to Clementine's family, but she hoped that Clementine found some more information. The triplets became toddlers in 1322 and they were so cute. Also, Edith gave birth to her first child, Alfred, who became the heir to the English throne. Unfortunately, Viola's daughter, Titania, tragically drowned under suspicious circumstances. Viola spoke to Clementine and told her that she believed witch hunters had killed her daughter and that they might have something to do with the disappearance of Clementine's family. Sybil also gave birth to her first child, Cecily, during this year. While visiting Sybil and the new baby at the Fairfield Manor, a painting of a witch being burnt at the stake caught Clementine's eye. Now, in 1323, Alaric passed away. He died of a hunting accident, as we can see here. He failed his age-up role into a young adult and did not make it. The entire family was devastated at this news, and Alaric was buried in the family crypt. Grace also became a teenager. Spurred by Alaric's death, Clementine was determined to solve the mystery of her family. Sybil helped Clementine to sneak into the Fairfield Manor at night to look for clues. While looking, Clementine discovered a dungeon under the house where she found her younger brother Isaac, as well as the skeletons of their parents, which obviously wasn't very pleasant. Although she couldn't retrieve Isaac that night, Clementine returned the next night and broke Isaac out of the dungeon and took him home with her. Unfortunately, at this point, Sybil was already pregnant again when she discovered what awful people her in-laws were, and she gave birth to her second child, Everard, in 1324. During this year, Lucian, who is Alaric's uncle and Viola's husband, died from dysentery. This was so heartbreaking because this was the last member of our original family to die. King Edward's uncle and the king regent, Leopold, also died of encephalitis, leaving behind a widow and two children. All Souls' Day occurred in 1325 and there was a huge party in the graveyard which included the ghosts of since-passed loved ones. Because of the outrage she felt, Clementine yelled at the Fairfield patriarch Otto for kidnapping her brother and killing her parents. After telling Viola what happened, Viola scolded Clementine for acting so rashly and told her that she would handle the Fairfields. Also, Clementine gave Sybil some money to help Sybil start a new life away from her husband and her in-laws. With this money, Sybil fled with her children to Scotland in 1326. However, she died almost instantly after the move from typhoid. Sybil's cousin Matilda, who also lived in Scotland, took in Sybil's children. In England, Viola killed Otto and Gaia Fairfield with the incendiary incendiary spell next to the fireplace, making their deaths look like an accident. However, what goes around comes around, and unable to control the power of the spell, it backfired and killed Viola. On a lighter note, 1326 was also the year that the triplets aged into children and Isaac aged into a teenager. Grace also became married to David Hastings, who was the son of Peter and Elizabeth Hastings. In 1327, Grace gave birth to her first child, but unfortunately lost the baby. She would go on to give birth to 4 children, 2 surviving from 1327 until 1330. Now, during this year, Cerelia Golding began working for Frederick Fairfield as a maid. Isaac and Cerelia met at the market and they became besotted with each other. Isaac was initially horrified that she worked at the house where he had been locked up and tortured. However, he realized that he loved her and promised to marry her and take her away from the house. Isaac and Cerelia were married in 1328, and Cerelia gave birth to their first child in 1329. Also in 1329, Tybalt, who was the oldest son of Lucian and Viola, got married to Rachel Hastings, the sister of David Hastings, marking the end of the decade with a union of 2 families. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to see any more, please consider watching the rest of my Ultimate Decades Challenge series. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!